Hey everyone, it's the Patient Hodler coming at you with another video, and in this one we are going to talk about the road to mass adoption, the real way to mass adoption for NFTs and ultimately also for the Veve collectibles and for the Ecomi token. But before we start, please keep in mind that I'm a crypto and NFT investor and not a financial advisor, so please do your own research before you ape into the Ecomi token or the Veve collectibles. And when I say this, I mean it. Do and perform your own research. On this channel, this is only an opinion that you can add to your overall research. Also, if you enjoy this type of content, please consider dropping a like, subscribe to my channel, and let me know what you think about the way to mass adoption for the Veve collectibles in the comments below. At this point, I want to thank my Patreons for always supporting this journey and making those videos possible. Now with that out of the way, let's get started. So I find myself today in a little bit bigger river and not just a small creek in the woods, so shout out to Supreme Leader at this point. And I wanted to dive into something that James Ferguson from Immutable X said on a live talk, and we are going to listen into this together in a minute. And he is talking about how DeFi and how also NFTs in the gaming space can grow to mass adoption. And I think there's no better way to explaining that than listening to himself saying what he said on this live event. So let's listen right now.
I completely agree, and I think I was going to say the way DeFi is going to go mainstream is when it's the back end of financial applications people use every day without knowing how it works. When they get loans on it, when you have the latest batch of Y Combinator startups all creating mainstream front ends to, earning yield on stable coins. In the same way, this is the exact way we actually win over gamers, which is, I don't think it's selling them NFTs. I think it's selling them in a game where they have an amazing experience and they own a piece of equity of that game. They have the ability to buy from their favorite streamer a skin that they use to win that tournament, keep that memorabilia forever. It's about creating a game which is massively popular, which under the hood uses NFTs. And that's why, if you go to many of these websites, like they don't even talk about NFTs, the technology. They talk about the value they're bringing to players, because players want this. They spend $100 billion every year on in-game items that they don't own. And Steam regularly screws them over. You have Counter-Strike Go, or op skins built on Counter-Strike Go, which was a $300 million marketplace which went bankrupt overnight because Valve decided to implement a trade lock. You can only trade an asset once per week. So people want this. They are actively getting screwed over. And the strongest market forces is where you say, hey, this is an injustice in the world and this is how we're rectifying that. So I think it's about creating an experience where people can experience this value without even knowing under the hood how it works.
So I think the most important point that he made here is that the whole crypto side and the technology on how NFTs actually work have to work in the background as a so-called backend, and that is exactly what we see on the Veve collectibles app as well. So on the Veve app, we have seen already this whole thing working in the background. We have the blockchain technology, the certificates to certain IP-based collectibles on the app, and a user experience to the front that does not require extensive knowledge about the crypto space, about blockchain technology and how it all works. So I think that's exactly what James Ferguson was talking about here in that video. We have experience where you can load up your fiat money into gems instead of buying Ethereum, and where you can then use those gems to buy those collectibles, and either from drops or from the secondary market, and then have an extensive experience already with the showrooms and with taking photos and videos with your AR 3D collectibles. And as Reese also pointed out, and maybe we are listening to this quickly again as well,
this is a collectibles app, not an investment app, right? It's obviously those collectibles can provide you value. Advice. Not financial advice, all of those things. But like, that's why we've always said, buy the things you love, buy the things you enjoy, right? And that's how the collectible world really works anyway, right? You're a fan of something, you purchase some sort of merchandise, and like maybe it becomes collectible later, right? Obviously, we have that.
This is a collector's app. This is not an NFT marketplace in that sense as, for example, an OpenSea would be, where you have to connect your MetaMask wallet and then send Ethereum there to then utilize it on the OpenSea marketplace. That's at least how it worked before and how it works for many marketplaces, and that is way too difficult. So I brought over the last year my family into the Veve app, and I could see live how it is easy for someone who is older or who is not familiar with the crypto space to actually take part in it and to buy collectibles. And that is, in my opinion, exactly the road to mass adoption, when users are getting an experience where they can enjoy the collectibles and enjoy digital collecting and enjoy even with the perspective of investing in something that will grow into the future without understanding MetaMask wallets, wallet addresses, the crypto space, and the same accounts, in my opinion, for many other projects. So for example, it is way easier for people to interact with sports clubs and with their teams, with Chili's in a front end like the socios.com app that I've mentioned in previous videos, and that they actually don't have to really interact with the crypto token, but in fact they are utilizing it and giving value to the token without having to understand the full mechanism. The same accounts for a project like VeChain, where users are scanning a QR code of a certain good in the supermarket and then can access the blockchain for seeing all the history and all the story that the product is already telling and where it has been shipped to, without actually understanding how VeChain works, how the staking mechanism works when creating VeTho, to then be able to mint. All this moves to the background so that users, real users in the open space, actually don't even know that they are interacting on a daily basis with this crypto solutions. And in that sense, also James Ferguson is saying that with regards to the IMX ecosystem. So for him, it's important to present a gamified front end to the users where they can really enjoy the games and interact with collectibles and so on without understanding the IMX ecosystem. And that is what will bring the real mass adoption, because we have seen, if we're looking at the mass adoption cycles, the easier something gets and the easier it is to understand and the cheaper it is to invest and use it, the faster the mass adoption will grow. We have seen that over time the mass adoption, for example, for the internet grew because it got easier and it was more affordable for people to get in. So also with regards to the different stages that countries and populations are in from a point of purchasing power, the access to something like internet and handheld devices and computers and better power of graphic cards and CPUs and so on, this also facilitates mass adoption in general. So once this is all done, the mass adoption is all done for the internet, for handheld devices, this also benefits the crypto space. And as we have seen with the internet, for example, when it was not so complicated anymore to reach website, the e-commerce space exploded, also with the help of improvements in other technologies. So I believe that this is the key to a quick mass adoption for Ecomi and Veve, and where we are going to see a massive growth in the user base of overall crypto, NFTs, metaverse and so on. And it's very good to see that the concept of Veve has been built from the beginning into that direction, and they have said it many times that things like KYC but also the crypto side will just complicate and act as a entry barrier. Now we have seen that we would need KYC to regain the trust of many investors because they want a cash out. Cash out requires KYC. That's all fine, but I can already see that KYC will complicate the matters a little bit more for everyone who is not so familiar with all of the space, even with using apps. But with that said, I'm already at the end of this little video. I hope you enjoyed this type of content. If so, let me know in the comments below what you think about the topic of mass adoption regarding the Veve NFTs, the OMI token. And with that said, wherever you are on the world, have yourselves a great morning, evening, day, night or afternoon, and see you in the next video.